They will ask you, they'll say, I'm going for an interview, make me an outfit. And that's how, honestly, that's how I started.
Yeah.
I told you, I said it was from styling, my friends and family. And then when people say to me that, oh, I had somebody like 5 years ago send me a dress and she wanted to amend it and she bought it for me.
Hi, my loves. Welcome back to another episode of the Goldby Show, where I'm your host, Ele Goldby, and today I have none other than the one and only Matopeda King.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good, my love.
Thank you so much for being here.
So
You know, I was going to do an introduction for you, but I would do this introduction based off of something you wrote. Do I have the permission? Mm-hmm. Do I have the permission? All right. So, introducing Matopeda King. In her words, I am the first Nigerian brand Beyonce wore. Mm. I am as bold as a lion. I don't wait for consent. If it is mine, I am taking it. I am married to a king, and he embodies Ephesians 3:20. Go read that. God did me well with him. I won't stop, and I cannot stop. I am the reference point. It has never been done before. And she is moving in the trillion flow. If you don't know what that is, she will tell you more. I'm so excited to have you here. I read what you wrote. I'm privileged to be in a group that you're in. Mm-hmm. And I read this and I had chills all over my body. Mm-hmm. Wow. The mindset of who you are and the boldness to proclaim your true identity is so powerful. And I feel like in our day-to-day, in this generation, that is lacking, right? So today I want us to talk about the woman who gets the best and will not settle for less. And I truly believe that you are that woman. Yeah. Yes, you really are.
I agree.
You are. Yeah. So tell us more. What has given you this mindset to say, I am getting the best? Because I believe you have the best.
We'll probably have to go backwards.
Yes, let's go backwards. Let's take it back.
My mom is very, anyone that meets her, when she walks into the room, I think we're kind of similar in that way, that when she walks into the room, she commands attention. Oof. She's very, she's a fashionista. I get that from her as well. She's very social. We grew up in a single parent household, so there are three of us. I was born in England and then moved back to Nigeria when I was 3 and then lived here till I was 11. So I went to QC, and because I started school quite young, so I was always I was like 2 years, a year and a half younger than everybody else in my class. I think me always having to speak up started from that, because everyone was older. So whenever they would have their conversations about boys,
you had to speak up.
Yes. Yeah. So they would sometimes go into corners, etc., and I always had to demand attention.
Yes.
Like, I can't hear you.
Right.
You're not listening to me. So I would always ask, what are you talking about?
Right.
What are you guys doing? I always used to do that.
Yeah.
I was always on the noisemakers list. Always. I was always on that list. And it's so funny. I never understood it, that how the person that was in charge, like the noise captain, would be the person I'm talking to. And she'll write my name on the list. And I never understood that. Growing up, my mom always showered us with compliments.
Oh, that is beautiful.
So she would always say, and I think I do that as well. So I am always she's always saying, you're beautiful.
Yes, you do that.
I've always said, she's always told me, whereas your mom from a young age would tell you not to wear trousers or long skirts. My mom, one of my best features of my body is my legs, on my legs. And she would say, no, wear short skirts. Like, wear your shorts. Like, she always would say that and buy outfits like that for me.
Yeah.
She always put me in, like, bold colors, red, orange, yellow growing up.
Sorry to come in. Would you say this is where your passion for designing and styling came from? Wow.
My mom did, one of her side hustles was interior decorating.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
When she would be talking to you, she would sketch. So I always, like, if I have a book and I'm talking to you or I'm on a call or a meeting, I'm always sketching. Wow. So I'm always drawing. If it can just be an apple.
Did you have to learn to do this professionally or did you just pick it up?
Yeah, so at first I was the one in the group. With my girls, I think there were 5 or 6 of us. Anytime they're going out on a date, an interview, I'll be the one dressing them up.
Oh, wow. That's good.
So I quickly found out that people always used to ask me, Tokwe, I'm going on holiday. I'll give you, they would pay me from a very young age. Oh, wow. Yes, they'll give me their cards.
Entrepreneur from young.
From a very, like, I don't know if you'd say that young, I think 23, 24. Oh, yeah, nice. So they would say, Tupperware, go to Oxford Street, buy me this. And
you loved it.
I used to live my life vicariously through other people. So I would always say, if you're going on holiday, I would buy their outfits. I would create looks for them.
Right.
At 21, I remember when I started working at 13. I started part-time jobs at 13.
Wow.
Paper girl, and working in a corner shop. So corner shops are like, I don't know, in
America.
Yeah, no, like a supermarket, like a local supermarket. Okay. So I would always be the till girl, etc., etc. Then moving on to retail, I worked in Selfridges, Kukai. So with that, because I always worked with women, so I always worked in a store where it's actually talking to you about it now. So I know that my customer service, the way I run my business has come from obviously my experience, my working in retail, but talking to you now because it's always been in fashion. Oh. I never put the two together. Wow. So I was always in Kukai, Selfridges, River Island, Topshop. Those are the stores I'd always worked in. So I was always working with fashion. Right. So with that, they've always taught training. You're always building up the woman. So you shower them with compliments, etc. My jobs, I've always had to talk in my jobs.
And I think it's really beautiful that you came from a healthy background where your mom was always complimenting you. I don't think I see that a lot with moms and your daughters. It's always like trying to correct them. Don't do this. Don't get pregnant. Don't wear this.
Yeah.
Don't
I have
do this.
To say, my mom, even though, so she had that bit where she would, it was always conflicting. So she had she will build you up with her words, and at the same time she can take you down with her words. So it's
ain't that every African mom?
Yeah. So it was, but I know this now, especially my relationship with her, that she was just being the best mom that she could be
at that time.
That's all she knew. Yeah. That's how she knew how to be a mom. So that's all. My friends always used to come to our house, so they would always come to our house, and then we would. I'm the one that would always, even now with my daughters, I'm saying it that, of course, I want them to excel in their academics, right? But I'm big on being creative with their games. Like we hardly ever put on the TVs. Right. Because growing up, we didn't have a TV for a long time. So we would have to make up games outside. So you have to be creative with those kind of things.
You know, I love how you're putting this all in, because the woman who gets the best and doesn't settle for less gets the best in every area of her life. So I'm seeing how your intentionality with yourself, where you work, with, entrepreneurship, with your kids, everything is tying in. That's powerful. So every experience you've had, like, you're not growing up watching TV. You've passed that on now to your kids, where you're teaching them to be more creative or expressive without the digital attachments to things. Wow, that's powerful.
So lots of people, and I know a lot of moms, I understand why they do give their kids the iPad, because it's easier to distract them and they don't disturb you. But I feel like for me, I want to train not only her,
That's good.
but I want to train myself that there are other ways to distract them, and we don't have to use the iPad.
There does not have to be an
yes,
iPad
it doesn't
or
have
the
to
phone,
be. Yes, exactly.
Right? Wow.
So I'm really big on that. Even with her, I have a baby. So with the baby now, with their nanny, I say, why don't you take this ball, pass it, Adia, I'm passing you the ball. So we're just making up games now. So from the young age, it's important that even Sakal turned 1, my first daughter turned 1 in February, and her gift in her box were affirmations for babies. So for young girls, so it says
affirmations for babies.
Yeah. So if you could, her room, she has.
Are they like words, pictures?
Yes.
Or...
So it says. She can't even speak that well, but you're teaching at such a young age. Sakal, you're loved by God. Sakal, Sakal, you're the beloved of God. Sakal, you can do anything you want to. Sakal, tell 5 people what you love about them. She can't speak, but she's hearing it. Before 1, honestly, she's already picking these things up.
But you know what's so powerful about that is that conversations are instrumental.
Very important.
To transformation.
Very important.
So imagine from a very young age, she's hearing, I am loved by God.
We didn't have that growing up.
We didn't have that. So you are rebuilding, retraining a new generation.
Yeah.
The woman who gets the best and won't settle for less is intentional. Very intentional. Very. Wow.
Things don't just happen by chance.
Things don't happen by chance.
So you're prepared. So even if it happens by chance.
Please say that to the camera. Say that to the camera.
Things do not happen by chance.
Wow.
So even if they do, so life happens, you're already prepared.
Yeah.
So you already have the tools and the skill set beforehand.
Yes.
So Sakal's starting French today. So that's one of the reasons why I have to leave. So she's starting French now because
that's beautiful.
If any job comes up when she's older, she's not going to. She's going to be bilingual.
Bilingual.
So do you understand? She's not going to be that.
Wow.
It's not even possible she'll be shortchanged. So that's not even an option.
That is amazing.
So so growing up, a lot of the things, and we just talked about it, that we never heard. So for me at 31, I came into the realization that Jesus really loves me.
Wow.
But imagine for the children that we're having.
At an early age.
They already know. It's not going to be a shock at 20.
It's not going to be a shock.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's not going to be a shock. It's not going to be a surprise. They're not going to start finding themselves at 20. I started finding myself at 30. I started to know who I was at 30.
At 30.
Yeah. So it's not going to happen with my children or your children because you already know
because I'm already enlightened.
Yeah.
I'm already enlightened.
My people perish for lack of knowledge.
Right. So I started finding myself after a heartbreak at 19 or 20. So now I'm 30. I feel like I'm very solid as a woman. So imagine what the next 10 years by God's grace will look like for me if I'm being intentional.
And as a wife.
Now, imagine a child knowing she is loved, is in a healthy family. Her mom is healthy, her dad is healthy, they're showing each other love, and then she understands God's love. She's not going to settle for less because nothing less has been provided to her. She does not know less. Wow.
Some people are not aware. So I was talking to one of my friends, she's 42.
Yeah.
And some people are not aware of the backgrounds that they've
been
how
raised in.
Toxic. They're not aware. They think it's normal.
They think it's normal. Toxicity has become normal.
It's very normal.
Chaos has become normal.
So the way they communicate is normal to them.
Yeah.
So she's not aware of how she communicates with her children, her friends, etc. So she thinks everyone is wrong.
Like, ooh.
And she's always at the right. So everyone is coming against her.
Right.
Whereas for me, because it's the same thing, so usually a boy that would drive us to Jesus sometimes. So, so at 30, I had the biggest heartbreak of my life. And even though he's always been there, P-Flo always has taught, he's always been there. We're the ones that...
By the way, P-Flo is our pastor at the Logic Church.
Yes. So he always says that we think we're the ones that have just, we're like, oh, Jesus found me. Jesus found me. He's always been there.
I found...
I gave my life. I found him. But he's always been there. His hand has always been in our lives. We just become aware
We've
of
just
it.
become conscious of the reality.
Yeah.
Wow.
That we're his beloved, we're his children, we're sons of God. So at 30, I started because it was everyone knows his story, and I think that's part of my calling and my purpose. So I know that I'm meant to build, and that's why I asked in the group, can I add one more thing? And it's funny because I noticed that I was talking a lot, and then what I was doing, I was encouraging people, and I was like, oh, I forgot to say, the reason why I do this and with ease, even in my busy schedule, it's easy for me because one of my purpose of what I've been called to do is to build women up.
Right.
So I'm meant to encourage, and I do that through my clothes.
Oof.
So I'm not meant to be, I'm a designer, yes. But it's just a means to meet women. I always say
women.
So that's the only way I can.
Powerful. You know, so like I mentioned earlier, I'm privileged to be in a group. We're privileged to be in the same group for women. And that was where I got what I read out earlier, you know, and she's mentioning how with her designs, her dresses, what she's really doing is she's reaching out to women.
Yeah.
You're making women beautiful, right? Or even adding to their beauty, rather, on important days of their lives, which is really powerful. And I think that's so prophetic, like being able to style a woman on that day. It gives her confidence. It boosts her self-esteem. And all of that, even if she already had it, I think it's a great advantage.
It's already there.
And it's already there.
Yeah,
You just, you know, it brings it out more, enhances it.
One our values in Matopeda is we look better,
we
feel better, and you do better.
Do better.
So imagine if you, just the way you're dressed now, there's a way you're commanding yourself. There's a way the way you're speaking, the way you're seated, the way you're seated.
Yes.
But imagine if you were frumpy looking. It's all inside, right?
It all starts here. It all starts in the mind, right? There's something I always say, and I love that, you know, the values that you have at Matopeda embodies that. If you look good, you feel good. You're more confident, right? So it's very important and I want us to touch on this as a woman who gets the best. Can we talk on physical appearance? I know a lot of times, and that's what I do on my shows and coaching and my book and all of that. I talk about how you need to do the inner work, how you need to fix your mind and all of that. It's so important, right? Because I believe everything starts from the inside first. But I'd like us to touch on the outside, looking good. What does that do for you not settling for less?
I think for me,
you always look good, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't feel, I personally, you know, and also that also has to do with your community and the people that you have around you. I've just had my second baby and I had my babies back to back. So I'm not at my ideal weight.
Okay.
Right? So being transparent, I don't feel as good as I normally would. Right? And it's because this is not my normal body size. Like this is not my normal weight.
Right.
But I know that
this is postpartum.
For example,
right?
yes. So for example, today I feel really beautiful because I curled my hair.
Yeah.
I put on makeup.
Yeah.
Right? I had a shower. Right? Anybody that's had a new baby, you know that there'll be days that 2 days will go by something. 2 days will go by and you've forgotten that you've not had a shower. It's very possible. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So once you do that, I put on perfume. You feel there's a way.
You feel better.
There's a way. You just you feel better. And I'm married to an amazing man that I feel like if he didn't shower me with a compliment, I probably would have lost weight a long time ago. So he's always telling me, I was saying it yesterday, I just go and steam my hair and wash my hair and I have K-Rose. He will just say, he will notice that, did you do your hair today? Did you wash your hair? Oh, you look beautiful. And I'm like, I did, like, really? Seriously, I did.
But we love a man who showers his queen with compliments in and out of season, whatever you look like, however you feel. doesn't matter.
It's
But
important.
it's who you are, right? So that's important because, like you mentioned, you just had a baby, right? And your body will go through changes. And if we're not okay with that, like your self-worth cannot just come from how you look alone.
No.
Because once a woman gets pregnant, no matter how small you are, you're still going to gain at least a pound.
Can I just tell you, my bra size before was a C cup.
Okay.
I think I'm probably like a double Z if there's anything like that now.
Wow.
Everyone that sees me, they're like, Tokwe,
what happened?
How did your boobs get to, how is this possible?
And this is real.
It's so real.
This is real.
It is so real.
And
I was like, I really don't understand. Like, I was that person that wouldn't, and I didn't need a girdle. I would eat. My diet consisted of ice cream. That's what I always used to eat before pregnancy.
Oh wow!
So it will change.
When
you grow older, your metabolism will.
Slows down.
Those that are you are really, really blessed, right? But we also have to, and I think that's one of the things I would advise. I always say, if you're having babies later, you need to get in the habit of working. Like, I had my baby my first baby at 38, 39.
Okay. 38,
so I always will say, start working out and eating better beforehand.
Okay.
Because it really did contribute, because I felt I wasn't necessarily gaining so much weight, but I felt heavier because of the weight that I already had.
Right. And so funny, I mentioned this in my book, where we have to get to the point where we know our source, where you find contentment in who you are per season. Like, there was at some point, let's say last year, I was going to the gym, I was fit and all of that, but a season came where I had to move and several things, and I wasn't able to stay consistent. And I was so stressed, and stress eating is a thing. And I just happened to fall into that. And I did gain a couple pounds, right? And I was telling myself, okay, do I feel bad that I've gained this weight, or do I just try to work on it? But I've not worked on it to where I need to be or where I think I should be, but I'm okay as I am. I think so many times we tend to, I don't know if condemn is the word. These bodies that we have carry us through so many things. It has carried you through childbirth for you, right? For me, it has carried me and helped me through all the work I have to do, through writing my book, through traveling, speaking, and all of that. I think I've come to a place of appreciating my body per season. And I think that's so important. And not feeling less, because I know some women who have just given birth, they don't feel beautiful anymore because their bodies have changed. And God forbid you don't have a healthy partner. Imagine you have a partner who's telling you, you looked better.
I think
before.
Also that with women that give birth, and they
because
don't, your life, it really
changes.
Your life really changes.
Yeah.
And again, coming back to, if you don't know who you are,
if you don't know who
you are, becoming a mother can actually it can take away from you as opposed to adding to you.
Wow.
So being a mother, being a wife, being a mother, it hasn't, I feel like it's another, like a trophy for me.
That's
right?
beautiful.
It's something that I'm more Matopeda. So if let's say I was 100% Matopeda, I'm now 150 Matopeda. Do you understand?
That's good.
Now that I'm a mom, now that I'm a wife, it hasn't reduced. It hasn't taken. But I have to say this: I prayed. I did the work before I became a wife.
What is the work you did?
So, for example, you talked about the group that we're in, women's conference, Women in Christ conference.
Yeah.
I told you my relationship with Jesus Christ started at 30.
Wow.
I started to find myself at 30. I started reading the Bible more. I started watching sermons on TV.
Yeah.
I made a decision I used to go out a lot. So I would go out Fridays, Saturdays, and some Sundays. I made a decision. I said, I want to be more like you.
Wow.
I want to have more of a relationship with you. I stopped going out on Saturdays so that I'll be in church on Sundays.
That is beautiful. That is growth.
slowly now, like even everyone did 30 December, it's Christmas. And it's been like this for a while for me. I enjoy being at home. Like I love
Preaching to the choir.
I feel like I've really lived, right? And it doesn't, when I wanted to have fun, I threw a party in my estate. We had fireworks to 2 a.m.
That's the energy.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So like, I don't
you can create your reality.
You can do whatever you
can
want
create.
to do with as little as
the
you
woman, I truly believe the woman who gets the best and doesn't settle for less, understand she can create her own reality. You don't have to join the pack.
No.
You don't have to follow the trends. You can do what works for you.
But the woman that has the best will not, she's not a follower.
She's not a follower.
She leads.
Yes.
She will always do.
Because it's always things. Different with you. When it comes to you, it's different.
Very different.
That is powerful.
Very different.
You mentioned something about having your first child at 38.
Yeah.
A lot of women think 30 is late, it's old, they need to settle. They just need to get married to someone because their clock is ticking and what is it called?
Biological clock.
Yeah.
No.
Can you please speak to them?
Me and my husband have this conversation all the time.
Yeah.
He says he wants our daughters to get married really young at 23, 24. My mom had me at 25, so the plan was I was supposed to be pregnant and I would have had my babies at 25.
Wow.
But if not for God, because I was engaged at 25, right? But I bless God for that season. I really do. Because I know that I would have been divorced by now. I definitely would be divorced by now. Again, the kind of children that we're going to have,
right?
They will be in a different mindset.
Completely different.
Mental space.
Completely
at 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be so different from us. My story is really different. I didn't start knowing myself till I was 30.
Wow.
There was no way that Matopeda could have been a wife.
She was not a wife, ready to be a wife yet.
Even though I thought I was.
Don't we all think the same?
I really.
I promise you, at 19, 20, I thought I was ready.
I really
thought I was ready, but I bless God who caused everything to scatter. Because I promise you, I probably would be divorced.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Or if you're in the marriage, you're unhappy.
Or if I was in the marriage, I would be unhappy. I would be sad. But I just thank God, like, none of that worked. And I'm sure there's someone out there who might be saying, you're going through a heartbreak or something very distressing, or you just feel like you've not been getting the best. Wait.
Yeah. Be patient with him.
Be patient. Do the inner work.
It's very important.
Do the inner work. Work on your mind so that you can get the best. I feel like when you are exposed to right information and you desire the best for yourself, you start receiving the best with time. Yeah.
You know yourself. You know what you want, what you're worth.
Because if you got married at 25, we don't know where you'd be now. You probably won't even be sitting here. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because because of the space that I'm in. Yeah. I'm able to pour out.
Right.
So what I'm doing now is not really about me. Even when you said that you wanted to read, I'm not really interested. I move on to the next thing because there are bigger things to achieve. So I'm not even somebody that will sit in my victories and all the things I've achieved. I've never been that kind of person. You have to even remind me of the things I've done.
Wow.
Because to me, okay, this has happened. What are we doing next? What's the next thing, right? Yeah. But in terms of, because I'm again in the space of, I'm about to bring out a new collection. I'm about to go on a tour.
Right.
I'm a new mom.
Yeah.
I'm able to come out of myself to say there are young women that need to hear this, right? That need to understand this, that need to know that despite of what has happened to you, where you are now, you can absolutely have it all.
You can have it all.
You really can.
You know, I did a little poll on my Instagram, and I would love to share that. So I asked the women, honest answers only. Do you think you can have it all? And 24% said they're trying to believe that they can have it all. 7% say they don't know. 7% say, yes, I think I can because it's the right thing to think. And I think that's a good mindset. They say yes because that's the right answer to choose. But a huge majority, 61%, said, I deeply believe I will have it all.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing. But then I followed up with a question. Are you doing the things it takes to get it all?
Yeah.
It's one thing to believe because there's faith, but then there's works.
Yeah.
Right? There are things you have to do.
You have to be intentional.
You have to be intentional. You have to be conscious of your realities and things of that nature.
The Bible says, write down your vision.
Write down do you have those things written out? It's not just saying, okay, yes, I want the best. Do you have a vision for what the best looks like? Have you written it down? Right?
Some people, they always say, there's a saying that the people that make it or the people that are successful are the people that actually get it done.
Yeah.
We all have ideas.
We all have ideas, but not everybody implements it.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is doing this, having a talk show, a podcast, I've always desired it since I was very early, very young. But I never did anything towards it. Each year, my New Year's resolutions, I would write, I want to start speaking. I want to start writing books. I want to do all these things. But I had all these great, grand ideas in my head. But if you don't take the steps necessary to make it a reality, you're playing.
Yeah.
The woman who gets the best and doesn't settle for less is active.
Yeah.
She moves in the direction of a vision that she already has in her heart.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you don't start off too well, as long as you start.
I was just going to say, you never have it all. Anyone that you see doing it, I promise you, it seems like they have it all. They really don't.
It seems like they have it all,
they
but
really
they're moving.
Don't, but you just, whatever you have,
just start.
Work with that.
Work with it. And you'll get better as you go. That's the truth.
You'll see that as you're starting, maybe you, all of a sudden you're somewhere where somebody can refer you to something.
Yeah.
You'll see that once you started, maybe it can even, let's just talk about business.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fashion. Somebody designs and you're thinking, I don't have customers. Make for your family. Start making dresses for your friends. Give it to them for free.
By the time they wear it somewhere,
someone's going to ask.
If
not even just, they will ask you, okay, it's my birthday, make me an outfit.
Right.
They will ask you, they'll say, I'm going for an interview, make me an outfit. And that's how, honestly, that's how I started.
Yeah.
I told you, I said it was from styling, my friends and family. And then when people say to me that, I had somebody like 5 years ago send me a dress and she wanted to amend it and she bought it for me, 11,000 naira. And I was, how?
11 grand naira.
How?
Wow.
Because I traveled to Dubai to buy the fabric.
Wow.
I'm sewing. But then I didn't have a car.
Wow.
I would take a yellow taxi from Lekki, go to Mende, sit with my tailor in Mende. I had another tailor in Surah. I would sit there every day because if you don't sit with them, the dresses, they'll be sewing other people's outfits. Until I got to a stage where I was like, I'm paying more to these tailors outside. Let me hire my own tailor. I could afford it.
Right. As you move, you start getting innovative ideas.
Things start
aligning and you can, wow, that is powerful.
Yeah.
And I would like to ask you, so now you've always been in business. How did that change for you after marriage?
It was better for me.
It was better for you after marriage.
I always say this, like, there's some time, with the right person, and I said this during the conference, that the second most important decision you ever make, the first is when you decide to give your life to Christ. The second most important decision you ever make is who you decide to marry.
Who you decide to marry.
Who you decide to marry will either make you or break you.
Yes.
Now, thanks be to God, I married somebody that is extremely wise. He's very business savvy.
Wow.
I was always working, activity. So, I could not, like, my clients are in America. 80% of my clients are in America. So I'm working till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. When we got together, he was able to see, like, can we sit down?
He was able to help
What's
you.
working, I was able to streamline.
That is beautiful.
I was
That's
able
powerful.
to, okay, who do you need? Because I've lived alone for a very long time, I don't necessarily go to my friends to talk about business, my work. Because at a point, my work was how I ate. So I was working to feed myself, right? So it was just, it's life. So I would never go to my friends, oh my God, this tailor is doing this beater, I don't know what to do, I'm stressed. I never did that. My stress reliever was at 5 o'clock, on a Friday, I'm going out. I need to go out. Nobody should talk to me about work.
Wow.
I would do that. But I never had somebody that when I'm coming back home, when he comes home, when we're sitting together, we're talking about our day.
That's
so he's
beautiful.
picking out things that I don't even know that is the problem.
Right.
Do you understand?
This is so beautiful. So this is so powerful.
Cycles that I'm repeating.
Yes. He's able to identify them.
Exactly. He's just repeating it out loud.
And helps you become better.
Yeah.
So it's very important, ladies, listening to this. The woman you're becoming needs a certain type of man. And like she said, if she got married at 25, only God knows where she would have been. If I got married at 19, 20, that I thought I was ready and already wedding dress shopping, because, you know, we like the glam, you know, and it's beautiful. The wedding day is beautiful. But after that, are you going to have a life?
Yeah.
Are you going to become the woman God has created you to be, right? You know, the man you're with is so, so important. And, you know, becoming the woman who gets the best and doesn't settle for less is not just about who you marry. It's important who you marry, but it's about you first.
What are you bringing to the table?
What are you bringing to the table? Who are you first?
What are you contributing?
Are you self-aware? Do you know what you want? Do you have a vision? And things of that nature. So now, as we round out, I would like you to talk about, or rather, I would like you to talk to 25-year-old Matopeda, because there is someone out there who is probably in the shoes you were in before. You are an icon to many. You're an inspiration. You are a mentor. And there are people who look up to you. They look up to you in the business aspect of things, and now probably even in marriage and with kids, because your life seems to be on a very balanced wheel. You know, the different areas of your life is going well now. So as Matopeda right now, I want you to speak to your 25-year-old self from the point you're at right now.
There's something you just said. I have to say this.
Go ahead.
I feel like social media always portrays perfection.
Perfect life.
Not even I feel like it's just a fact. And even with my dresses, I always say this, and I'm so transparent. I'm that designer that I will say to you, if you come to me and say, oh my God, talk about it. I want this dress. How much? What's your budget? I always ask, what is your budget? After the wedding, you're going to have a marriage. You want to open your fridge and make sure there's water in your fridge, there's food in your fridge. I'm that designer. I'm not necessarily the person for you just because you want to Matopeda. I'm not, because I've listen,
you care.
I've worked, I also know that not everyone's my client.
And that's good.
I'm at a place where it's not, because I never started this for money. I was doing this for free before. So money is secondary, right? Wow. So the jobs now that I don't need to necessarily take. And it's the same thing. When you're shopping around for your vendors, it's not just because that person is trending, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the person for you. That's not necessarily the right vendor for you. Yeah? So that's just by the way.
That's by the way.
But then, social media portrays, and I say this with my dresses, you see I posted a video of a finished dress, right? but there's a process to that
There's
dress.
a process always.
There's the base. There's the putting together. There's the removing. There's the editing. There's the unlearning.
Embellishments.
To
so
relearn.
many things involved.
There's so many things.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with life.
That is the same
right?
thing.
Where you are now is not the end.
It's not the end.
It doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean you can't get it right.
Yeah.
And you said something, so I have to just correct it. Balance. I don't know what balanced means to people.
Right.
Do you understand? I can, and I was saying this, and I said this to people. 2023 was the toughest year.
You said that.
For me.
You did say that.
Like,
but it would never look that way because looking, like I said, social media gives you like the front row seats to everybody's lives, and you think everybody else has it perfect, they have it good. But when I say balanced, I'm coming more so from a perspective that you know your identity.
Yeah.
So despite anything coming or going, you are firm in who you are. Yeah. That's what I meant by balance. Beautiful. Not necessarily that your life is perfect. And for the woman who gets the best and doesn't settle for less, it's something I mentioned in my book, You Are Gold. You know, gold goes through a process, and I love that you mentioned that. It goes through so much refining. It goes through heat. It goes through seasons where it doesn't think that heat will end, where the pressure, the fires, and we go through those things. But when you know you are gold, you don't shift because you know there's an end of certain things coming, right? Yeah. There's a mindset, and it's really that mindset that tells you, I know who I am. I know my identity. So irrespective of whatever I'm going through, whatever season life may present, I'm still solid in who I am, in my identity.
What happens to gold at the end of the refining and the purification process? Somebody's going to come and buy it.
Someone is going to buy it.
Somebody's going to purchase it.
And you know, the funny thing I mentioned in my book is when gold becomes gold, like the best athletes are competing for it. It will be on the heads of kings.
Beautiful. Amazing.
Right?
Amazing.
It will be on the necks of the finest women on the planet. That is so powerful to me. People pay top dollar to get it. Yeah. If it stays
in the process. Yeah. So imagine if that gold, let's say gold, says, I can't take it.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Like halfway. It's too much. Difficult. I'm done. Yeah. You just stop halfway. God. You end your process. Yeah. When there's a beautiful life, a beautiful transformation in the end, if you will just wait. Yeah. Wow.
I always say this, so I get so many girls sending me messages. I spend like half of my day I'm counseling.
Wow.
And they always say, a 25-year-old saying, I feel like giving up. Like, how? You're 25, you're 28. I don't think it will happen. You're a baby. Like, get yourself, live. How do you know that you've made a mistake?
I think society has put that pressure. Because for me, I turned 30 and I just felt like I don't have certain things. My life is over, all of this, or I'm too old. No.
What?
I had to speak to myself because I knew that that was not the voice of God. My life is just starting.
Really starting.
It's just starting.
Really starting.
Yeah.
I can't, like, what?
So if you're 22 thinking your life is over because some boy broke up with you or something else happened, no. There's a beautiful life ahead. You're literally just starting. Like, you've not lived your best days yet. Ever. You've not met the best people yet. Ever. You've not even come into the fullness of all you can be and who you can be yet. There's so much more coming. So yeah, I think on that note, you didn't speak yet to your 25-year-old self. So go ahead and speak in there to her.
Be patient. Trust the process. It's really important. Ask yourself questions. What am I meant to be learning from this? What am I supposed to take from this? What should I do with this? It's very important.
Very.
And I really think it's just don't give up. I always say this, that the person that says, I'm done today, what time is it now? What time is it now? It's 3:20. What if you walking out of this room at 4 p.m., you're going to bump into, let's just say, the guy, or you're going to bump into the person that refer you to the job, or you've given up at 3:20. You don't know what the plan is. You're just part of the plan. You have no idea. You just have to really stay the course.
Yes.
And it's different for everyone. It's so different for everyone. 25-year-old Matopeda, you're going to feel so blessed for the pain. That pain, the pain you're going through now, because I remember very well, I was the skinniest, I wasn't eating, I just started to think about my business, that like it was not even a business. I was just, I need to do something. I'm gonna die if I don't do something. And that was what it was for me at that point. So greatness is ahead. And it's just gonna be so, so, so beautiful. I
love
that's the best
that.
thing I can say.
I love that. Thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you, my
here.
love.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
And I know this is going to touch so many people.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you all for tuning in to the Gold We Show today. Make sure to leave a comment, and most importantly, apply the lessons that you learned to your own life. You are the woman who gets the best in every area of her life and will not settle for less. That is what God wants for you. And you can do this one day at a time by being intentional. So make sure you share this video with someone, and I'll see you all in the next episode.